Morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Market Day Report. I'm Christina Loren. State Farm Bureau presidents convene in Washington to attend this afternoon's House Ways and Means Committee hearing on the effects of tariffs on U.S. agriculture and rural communities. AFBF Vice President and South Dakota Farm Bureau President Scott VanderWal is participating in the event, and he joins us now for an update. Thank you so much for joining us, Scott. And we would like to hear, what are you telling the House Ways and Means Committee today about the current trade situation?
Well, good morning. We're going to talk about the effect of tariffs and trade on agriculture and the fact that farmers and ranchers in general still support the president in what he's doing. We understand that other countries have not treated us very well in terms of international trade, but we're also going to help them understand what the effects are on agriculture in general. And the fact that these tariffs and the news of tariffs have caused our markets to drop substantially, and that's a huge financial impact on American agriculture.
Absolutely. I think a lot of farmers are happy to know that you're in Washington advocating on their behalf. Give us your thoughts on how the markets have reacted to this news.
In the last month and a half, since late May, soybeans have dropped to about $2 a bushel. That's about 20% of the price. Corn has gone down about 65% or 65 cents, which is 17 to 18%. That's just two examples of the many commodities that are being hit in this thing, and it's because the other countries that when we get in these trade disputes, they know exactly where to punch us, and that's in ag commodities.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about the trade war at this point, but are you getting the sense at this point that the cost of the trade war is starting to actually hit home with farmers?
It really is, and farmers have been patient. You know, in the early selling season here in late spring, early summer, hasn't been a big selling time for us. But as we get down toward harvest, where farmers are cleaning out their bins from last year, some have to sell off the combines, this is going to turn into a big financial deal for American agriculture. And we're starting to hear the angst starting to ramp up, and we're turning up the volume a little bit. People in the country are saying, hey, we've got to get this over with quickly, or we're in a lot of trouble.
Okay, now everybody at this point, well, most people that we're hearing from, they're looking for a solution, but say a solution to the trade war is not found soon. What are you hearing about potential assistance from USDA?
We are hearing that the Secretary has been instructed to come up with a plan, and we're very interested in working with them on that if need be. But first and foremost, farmers and ranchers would rather have their income from the market, and we'd rather have the trade negotiations wrapped up and let the markets get back to what they're supposed to do very, very soon, rather than having to depend on the government. The other side of that is it would be so complicated and so many dollars to try to make that up that it would be very, very difficult and time-consuming to come up with a fair option.
Okay, now, if you had President Trump's ear, if he was sitting right in front of you right now, what would be your message to him about trade?
We'd say we support what he's doing, that getting more fair negotiations going, more fair agreements in place is fine, especially for the other industries that are involved. But please protect agriculture from being an unintended consequence, in other words, hurting agriculture and being used as leverage in the negotiations.
Okay, thank you so much. American Farm Bureau Vice President and South Dakota Farm Bureau President Scott VanderWal, we really appreciate you joining us from the AFBF headquarters.